The football gods giveth, the football gods taketh away. Uh, what a day. Welcome into Top the Perch. I am your host, as always, Nick Burt. Tottenham play in their first ever UEFA Super Cup match, yet come up just short as they fall to Paris Saint-Germain in penalties. What a day to start off with. Thomas Frank's first true competitive match. I know he's had 6 preseason games, and if you technically want to count this as a preseason game, it is one. But there was a European trophy on the line. You can't consider this just, some type of preseason exhibition. This felt like a great way for Tottenham to start off their season, hopefully on the right foot. And they get ever so close, and they just can't close it out. Where have you heard that before? Overall, I was quite shocked by Tottenham's performance today in a good way. I don't think a lot of us expected Tottenham to even be close in this game, let alone be leading up until the 4th minute of second half stoppage time. But it was, you could tell Tottenham were exposing PSG's weakness, which was kind of in the midfield. If you put pressure on them in the midfield, it kind of unraveled from there. Tottenham exploited that today up until mid-second half, and we'll get into that. First half, though, Tottenham looked incredible. They, I think, had like 29% possession in that half, but it felt like they dominated the whole half. First major opportunity came in the 23rd minute. Richarlison forced a turnover in the defensive third. He and Kudus go on the attack. It's like 2-on-4 before PSG defenders running back. Kudus fills it into Richarlison, who takes a shot from right outside the box and tests the keeper. And what a save was made there. Could have easily been top corner of the net. Could have been 1-0 Tottenham very easily. But great save, leads to a corner kick, which obviously leads to nothing. We then get to the 39th minute, and what is seeming to potentially be a theme for Tottenham Hotspur this year is free kicks. They earn a free kick that's just past the halfway line. They bring up Vicario to take the free kick. He blasts it to the opposite corner of the top of the box. That gets thrown into the mixer there. It ends up with Paulinho. Shot gets taken, goes off. It makes it past the PSG keeper, but goes off the post. Comes back for the rebound. Who's there? Mickey van de Ven puts it in the back of the net, and Tottenham take a 1-0 lead in the UEFA Super Cup against European champions PSG 39 minutes into this match, and the vibes were very high. It had a very familiar feeling of the Europa League final with Brennan Johnson scoring a goal kind of just off a mess of a shot, and Tottenham picking up the 1-0 lead. It's like, okay, maybe let's just throw 10 at the back and see where it goes from there. Speaking of formation, we'll obviously get into it when we get to play ratings, but we saw Thomas Frank go with a 5-3-1-2 today. I don't know if we should really be expecting that for this whole year. I think this was just an adapted tactic to this game to kind of exploit those weaknesses for PSG. Will be interesting to see if Tottenham go with that come Saturday. So we go into the half, 1-0, Tottenham in the lead, and it's, hey, we are 45 minutes away from our second European trophy in under 100 days. And like I mentioned, they had like 29% of the possession in the first half, but it felt like they absolutely dominated everything that was happening there. It was honestly kind of incredible when I looked at the stats and it was only 29%. I'm like, it felt like we had the ball for much longer than that. But alas, we did not. We get into the second half early on. Free kick awarded I would say at the edge of the attacking third. Pedro Porro cross into the box. Christian Romero is left unmarked at the far post. And easy for him. Easy to put it in. It's 2-0 Tottenham. 48 minutes into this match. And it's for the new captain of Tottenham Hotspur, Christian Romero, getting a goal in this game. It was wow. This is an incredible moment. Like, I don't think I ever expected to see anything like that. But it's 2-0 Tottenham, and with the way it was being played, it's who's stopping them now? Like, who is stopping them? The way the ball was just flowing perfectly. They weren't giving PSG any opportunities, and it just felt like this is almost half in the bag. Like, let's get this sealed. But as we know, Tottenham Hotspur. We get to the 52nd minute. We have a good opportunity for Tottenham Hotspur off a free kick again. This time it was Kevin Donzo with a header. Just misses the near post. Stays 2-0. Kevin Donzo. What a performance from him today. You really saw his long throws being utilized today on throw-ins. And it looked like he wasn't even throwing at like full speed. It was like at 60%. And I mean, it's still far into the box. But like I said, with Tottenham Hotspur, it felt like today was a real showing that set pieces are really taking a step up this year. Obviously, with both goals coming off of a set piece and multiple other opportunities. Like, it's just, hey, like, we got to do what we got to do. 66th minute, PSG find the back of the net, but quickly called back for an offsides play. Tottenham very lucky to escape there, keeping it 2-0 as we approach the 70th minute. And this is kind of where things start to fall apart. Obviously, like, tempo was shifting. PSG were getting fresher legs on. We all knew PSG had the better bench, but Tottenham just felt like they couldn't even get past the halfway line, past the 70th minute. And that was a big problem. You could tell they were sitting back, and things are going to happen when you sit back, and it's most likely going to end up in disaster. Dominic Solanke makes his first appearance of the season / preseason. He gets subbed on the 72nd minute. Archie Gray gets subbed on in the 72nd minute. And that was kind of massive. Coming off was Paulinho and Richarlison, two players that had incredible games today, but they weren't going to make it to 90. So we get to the 85th minute. Ball gets into the box. It's tried to cross out, gets to King and Lee. He puts it into the bottom far corner of the net. It is now 2-1 PSG with only 5 minutes left until stoppages, and you had to figure probably 5 minutes of stoppages included. So we're about 10 minutes away. 10 minutes is a long time in football, as we all know. And it felt like the equalizer was coming at some point, and it did. 4th minute of stoppage time, ball is crossed into the box by PSG. It finds Ramos with a header right in the middle of the box. Nothing Vicario can do about it. It's 2-2. 4 minutes. into stoppage time of 6 minutes of stoppage time. So Tottenham were right around 2 minutes away from claiming this game. But we were headed to penalties, and with penalties, it's always it's a brutal twist of fate. Dominic Solanke, first penalty, puts it in the back of the net. It's 1-0 Tottenham. Then was Vitinha, stepped up for the first penalty for PSG. Maybe one of the slowest penalties I've ever seen. He was just creeping up to the ball. Goes wide right. Tottenham, the vibes are back. It's feeling like, okay, we may get this. Let's just convert our penalties. Bentancur is the next one to step up. He converts, although it gets awfully close to a save by PSG. It is now 2-1 Tottenham. It is then Ramos, the equalizing goal scorer, steps up, just blasts it. Middle, right down the middle into the back of the net. It is 2-1 Tottenham. Mickey van de Ven steps up next. He goes right. PSG dives right. Penalty is saved, which means PSG have the chance to equalize, and it's Dembele that steps up, the Ballon d'Or, heavy Ballon d'Or favorite. He puts it, of course, into the back of the net, and we are now level at 2-2 after 3 rounds of penalties. And for Tottenham Hotspur, up steps Matisse Tell, notably the only one of 2 players in this penalty shootout that did not play the full 90. He puts it wide left. That is Tottenham's second miss in a row. PSG, of course, have the chance to take advantage here. It is the goal scorer that put it at 2-1, Kang-in Lee. He puts it in the back of the net. It is now 3-2 PSG. Tottenham down to their last shot. They have to convert. Pedro Porro converts, but also Mendes converts on the final penalty for PSG, and Paris Saint-Germain walk away with the UEFA Super Cup. So even though Tottenham Hotspur played the better game today and probably should have won this game, they end up losing in penalties 4-3. And if that isn't the Tottenham Hotspur we know, I don't know what is. The fact they were that close. I mean, they literally had to close out 2 minutes, and that was it. And it does not happen. And now we go into Premier League season off a very good performance. I think you can be happy of how Tottenham performed in this game compared to the expectations that were expected, and also be extremely disappointed on how it ended, because that was it was an absolute disaster. Start to finish, those last 10 minutes were an absolute disaster for Tottenham Hotspur. It all felt like it was coming. The subs were not the best because Tottenham just don't have the depth. If this does not, it's not going to convince Daniel Levy and the board to invest in stronger players that can potentially strengthen our squad, that could potentially win us games like these. I don't know what will, but I mean, we know investment isn't coming. We will continue to be gaslit by the Eze potential, the Savinho potential, the potential for both. We'll be gaslit, and I'm sure by the time you watch this tomorrow, there's going to be some report that Tottenham are either close with one of them, close with both of them, or the deals have fallen through for both of them. I would put the deals falling through on the back burner for right now. That's something you're going to drop on like a Friday night, Friday afternoon, 5 p.m., right around there. Tomorrow it's we almost won the Super Cup. Let's make it look like we're investing. So throw out those type of rumors, and then everything's going to fall apart. Oh, they were far away on, discovery rights or some odd, clause you've never heard about before, and then the deal is going to fall apart. And Tottenham will still be left with the same squad from what we just saw today, which honestly is a worse version of last year's squad. Even though we've made some major plays with starters, at least, in Mohamed Kudus, who looked incredible today, and Joao Palhinha. The game changed when he got subbed off, and for the worse for Tottenham. Those are two great players. You got to bring in another 2 to 3 if you want to actually compete for titles. It's just not going to work if you're just status quo. Let's just run with these kids again. For Tottenham Hotspur, though, obviously a lot of people were in the crowd today. One of them was not Daniel Levy, which little suspect, but whatever. More importantly, Johan Lang was joined by a special guest, and that special guest was Fabio Paratici, of course, our former director of football. Got suspended for 18 months, right around there, due to financial issues at Juventus. He seems to quietly and quickly be coming very much back into the fold at Tottenham Hotspur. He was always still an advisor, but you never saw him. He was at the Super Cup today. Was that just because they were in Italy? Who knows? But I truly do believe we're going to be seeing a lot more of him this year. If that's not a full replacement of Lang, who knows? Because Lang seems to be really good on the youth and finding those wonder kid type players. But Fabio Paratici is the one that gets you ready now players that are unhappy in their situations. I mean, he brought us Rodrigo Bentancur. He brought us our new captain, Christian Romero. I mean, he can find those players. He can find players that are very good in bad situations, and things tend to work out. Now, you can say Brian Heel and Alejandro Velez and Solomon. I don't know if that was one of his signings. Bissouma. You can look at those and be like, well, he's had some very bad misses and you can't even get rid of him. That is also very true. It's either very hit, very miss for Fabio Paratici. So, for the first time this season, let's get into the player ratings. So, as mentioned earlier, our first true view of what Thomas Frank may be running at Tottenham Hotspur came today in the form of a 3-4-1-2. And we start at the top. Our two at the top were Richarlison and Mohamed Kudus. Both got subbed off at different stages of this game. Richarlison was in the 72nd minute. Kudus was in the 79th. Richarlison, I thought, had a very good game today. Now, his shots were not that great. It's one of those things. He was very good at what he was doing today, but when you pay £60 million for a player in that position, you expect a lot more. Obviously, there was that shot that tested the keeper in the 23rd minute, but there were also opportunities where he just had the ball, but he had two PSG defenders right around him and just wouldn't pass it off. He would just run into them, and it would obviously be a turnover, and PSG would go on the attack. You want to expect more from him, and I don't know. It is what it is. He's not the greatest. He's not the worst. Could be a lot better. I thought he did do really well, though, today. He had a few good opportunities, just couldn't convert. He gave him a 7-3. Mohamed Kudus, as I said, I thought he had a spectacular first true game for Tottenham Hotspur. Put on a great performance. He had a really good few passes in there. Didn't really have many shots. Gave him a 7-4. The player down the middle, if you want to technically call it a 10, that was Popsar today. I thought he had a really good game, and the game really did change when he got subbed off in the 90th minute. So you can say the game really changed, even though it was really only stoppage time. The game changed when he got on. Nothing against Bergvall, who got subbed on for him, but Sarr was just having a really good game. I gave him a 7-4. Your 4 technical midfielders, Spence and Porro were playing more back. So, this could have been a 5-2-1-2. Could have been, obviously a 3-4-1-2. You can really put Spence and Porro right in between the midfield and that back line. If you want to call it a back 5, do what you want. If you want to call it a back 3, do what you want. Jed Spence, I thought, had a decent game today. It's not like a fantastic performance like we've seen from him before, but he was putting some people into the Jed Spence penitentiary today on that far wing. Carvajal was just lost out there today. It was a very good performance from Spence, just on the attacking end. Obviously not much there. 7-2. Joao Palhinha, I gave him a 7-6 and the Man of the Match award because this game swung on its head when he got subbed off. And even after he got subbed off, if you look on the touchline, he was there acting as a coach. That is leadership. I was very shocked to see that for a player that just got loaned in like a week ago. I was very shocked to see that type of development this quick on. He looked phenomenal in that midfield today. I know there were a lot of questions about bringing him in. It's like, why are we kind of doing this? That was, European experience today from him, and you could tell. Thought it was a great performance. The game really swung in PSG's favor when he got subbed off because Archie Gray just kind of looked lost out there. So Palhinha, given that, earns the Man of the Match with a 7-6 performance. I also thought Rodrigo Bentancur was pretty good today. I know he kind of had some poor moments in those final, weeks and months of the Postecoglou era, but it finally feels like he's finally kind of getting back to the form he was at before that ACL tear, which could be absolutely massive for Tottenham Hotspur if he has truly figured it out. We're obviously going to see in the coming weeks if he truly has, but I thought today was a good, true first impression for Thomas Frank. Pedro Porro, he gets one of the assists today, and that was on the Christian Romero goal. Beautiful free kick into the box. Finds him in space. Incredible job by Porro. I think he should be on free kicks this year. He looks very good at it. Gave him a 7-3. Looking at our back line, Mickey van de Ven with the opening goal of the game earns a 7-3. I thought he did pretty well, but that penalty miss just couldn't be excused without some sort of downgrade in rating because it kind of felt like that should have been converted. Obviously, it was not. He earns a 7-3. Christian Romero, first game as official captain. I know he's been captain before, but he is now the captain at Tottenham Hotspur. He earns a 7-6. Of course, he had the second goal, as we just mentioned today. I thought he had a really, really good performance. Hoping to see a lot more of that this year with him now under Thomas Frank. And hopefully that also leads to a contract extension. That would be really nice to see for Romero to commit his future to Tottenham Hotspur. And then Kevin Donzo, as I mentioned, the long throw merchant. That was some incredible performance today. Those things just were beautiful throws into the box, and I've never seen Tottenham Hotspur do that. And even if I have, it certainly has been a long, long time since they have done anything quite like what I saw today. I'm expecting to see a lot of that this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Donzo kind of gets a spot in the starting 11 basically for that reason. And then Gianluigi Vicario kind of returning home, as this is right around his hometown. He earns a 6.0 today. I honestly probably could have been a little bit lower. because I don't think I've ever seen the guy save a penalty in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt. He couldn't really do anything on the second goal. First one, arguments can be made, but it felt like he was never truly close in the penalty shootout, and that's worrying. Like, you got to make at least a save or two. I know there was a miss in there, but that's not a save. Here in 6-0, it could have been a lot worse, but it is what it is. And then we look at our subs, as mentioned earlier, in the 72nd minute. Archie Gray and Dominic Solanke got subbed on. Solanke, I get it. It's his first game back, like truly back from injury. Wasn't going to be at the best today. But Archie Gray, man, oh man, he kind of just looked lost out there. I don't even know what to say. I'm still very hopeful for him. I mean, obviously, going up against PSG in the first game, like it is what it is. But like he just looked completely lost. That is not great, but it is what it is. Then Matthijs Tel, he's young. I still see the vision, but man, that was a rough performance today, and he was only on for around 10-15 minutes. Like, that was just not great. It was not great. Let's be honest. Not great. The penalty miss was kind of atrocious. Let's be honest here. I'm hopeful for him this year. I believe we can get better. This is just a very bad start. And then Lucas Bergvall, I mean, he got subbed on in the 90th minute. Barely did anything today. Didn't take a penalty. Nothing to truly grade. So given that, Tottenham Hotspur have completed their first match of the 2025-26 season. And next up for Tottenham Hotspur, it is Burnley at home on Saturday, I should say, to open up the Premier League season. Another season of hope has arisen for the Premier League, and here we are now. It's going to be another fun 38 matches this year. Can't wait for it. But given that, that's going to wrap it up for today's edition of Top of the Perch. Thank you so much for watching. If you just stumbled across this Super Cup recap, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you tell everybody about it. We will be back Saturday, of course, to recap Burnley Tottenham. Thursday night, Friday, you will see the full Premier League preview. We will get you all set for this 2025-26 Premier League season. And that will be it. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again quite soon, actually very soon, for another episode of Top of the Perch.